Welcome to The Source with your host, Dr. C.T. Curry, and co-host Coby Owens. News all across the nation. The Source. Stay in the loop in the city of Wilmington, Delaware. Work together for change in the community. A call to action to find the resources. The Source, the latest in news.
Good evening. This is Dr. Curry.
This is Coby Owens.
And welcome to The Source. Coby, has been an interesting and strong week this week with HBCU week going on. And I know you're going to talk about that a little bit later. And you decided to get the memo and wear blue with me today.
Yes.
So we're in a good space. And how are things going before we get started on this week with this new election being over?
Things are going well. They're moving towards November now, the general election. We have our set who's going to be in all our council districts. And then, of course, we're still waiting for at-large. But usually it is 3 Democrats win and then whoever gets the most votes out of the Republicans. But again, getting ready for the November election, we have critical elections up and down the ballot all over this state. I've been out ever since my election was over. I've been out knocking doors with some of my friends who are also running. Larry Lampert up in Claymont, Deshaun O'Neill out in Ellesmere, Melanie Ross Levin up in Namens Road, Nick Beer, Monica Beer out Pike Creek, Frank Burns out Pike Creek area, Kirkwood Highway. So again, there's a lot of good races going on that people need help with. If you have some additional time, we have to make sure that we flip a few seats to expand our majorities here in Delaware.
You got that right, because so that we can get some things done. And I heard that on Thursday they signed the bill into law about the capital punishment.
Yeah, so it eliminates death penalty as an option here in Delaware. We still need a constitutional amendment to codify it in our law to completely get rid of it. And that is important because earlier this week, we watched the death of a black man who evidence had came out proving he was innocent. Prosecutors in his case that prosecuted him and went for the death penalty came out and said, please don't kill this man. The family of the victim in which this person was accused of killing came out and said, please don't kill this man. And this was a black man named Marcellus Williams, who the governor of Missouri could have stepped in and stopped this execution, or the Supreme Court, but 6 of them said, no, go ahead and execute this man. The governor said, no, go ahead and execute this man. The same governor who pardoned the 2 white people, the husband and wife who pointed the guns at protesters. So again, Thursday was just a moment that I felt so happy for, having been part of the coalition to abolish the death penalty here in Delaware for so long. We finally got that first step. Now we have to come back to this new General Assembly and work to make sure we get a constitutional amendment to completely eliminate it here in Delaware.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. And there's so much is going on before we get into our real news for the day. And the last thing I do want to share with you, this week, last week I went away out of town, and when I went out of town, I happened to look at TV at CNN, and I saw the tweet that Elon Musk put out. How come no one has tried to assassinate Kamala Harris and Joe Biden? And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. So I no longer have a product that Tesla makes. I got rid of my car, and because I don't want to support him in no way. And my wife never did support him, but I kind of said, you know what, he has the right to say what he wants to say. He has a good product, but for the man to be as rich as he is, and one of the richest men in the world, and to mix and be as loose with his language, not understanding the weight of his language, and not understanding that some person who is challenged psychologically will probably take him up on that offer, was just too much for me. So for those of you who watch, I do think you need to pay attention to where we're spending our money. I'm not going to be a hypocrite.
Mhm.
At this point, I cannot support him anymore. So that's all the stuff on the top of the hour today. And I just want you to know that I don't have the Tussler anymore. So you didn't get a chance to ride in it, but I got rid of it right away. I mean, I came home within 3 days. It was so out of my life. Let me talk about two things real quick.
Yes.
And one is the shootings that are going on in and around the city. We did have two this week. Last Thursday after the taping of our show, there was a teenager critically injured in northeast Wilmington. Do you know anything about that at all?
Yeah, so it was a 16-year-old who was shot on East 24th Street and Carter Street. That happened around 6:20 that evening, that Thursday evening. And again, he was taken to the hospital, was considered in stable condition, or critical condition, I'm sorry. But has not passed away, so that is good. And hopefully he is on the pathway to a speedy recovery. But again, no additional information has been put out. There has been 2 requests that I know of for more information about this case, particularly from the community members, and they have not received a response from the WPD.
Have you done any analysis, or do you know if anybody who've done any analysis on how many cases happen and how many get solved, or there's some response?
Yeah, so Delaware Online actually has a really good tracker. When it comes to things like this, and it actually, they keep it updated as cases are solved, even if it's been a few years. So I know one of the cases was just solved from all the way back in 2018. That now brings, for the 2018 year, it brings it up to 9 cases solved in all those shootings that happened in 2018. They have not published it yet for 2024. That will probably, they usually publish the first iteration of it in February of the next year, and then they update it throughout the year if there's any additional cases that are solved. Gotcha. Or if anything happens with any other cases as well too. They do a pretty good job at tracking that. But other than that, there's very little information.
Yeah, and also there was another shooting on the other one was on Tuesday, I believe it was. But this one, it was where Wilmington Police had on the 19th, on Thursday on Rodney Street. What was going on with that, or what do you know about that? Yeah,
that was between 2nd and 3rd Street. That happened around 8:40. And again, they found a 49-year-old man who was hit by gunfire several times to the upper body, but was listed as stable condition when taken to the hospital. So again, that is just something additional that is continuing to happen. I'm glad he's in stable condition, especially being shot multiple times in the upper body. You usually don't see that stable condition following a sentence like shot multiple times in the upper body. So I am glad he is okay. But this also shows the range of age of individuals who are being victims and being affected by gun violence here in the city of Wilmington in the Newcastle County area as well.
Yeah, and one of the things I want to correct, and I did notice in the Delaware Online, or was it, maybe it wasn't Delaware Online, maybe it was WDEL, they talked about the 16-year-old man. And whenever it comes to black boys, they always want to call them men, even though at 16-year-old, you're still a boy. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was very horrible. But right now, we're living in a very tedious time when you have somebody shot several times. Yeah. And there's no more information on that. I mean, nobody in the community, and I know sometimes the community is scared to talk because of, the dangers of their lives.
Yeah. And I think that's comes from a distrust of the police department. And, I've talked about this numerous times, right? In order to start rebuilding that trust, you have to first admit your faults. Mm-hmm. And we're not saying that every officer is an issue. We're not saying that, every person on the street is always right. Mm-hmm. But what we're saying is there is a system that has been flawed for many years that has led to the distrust from the community. Yeah. And when you don't have that trust there, when they feel as though if they give you information, it will not properly be handled and used right, then you lose that ability to be able to solve cases in the long run. This is also why I think you need more than just police when it comes to things like this. And you've heard me talk about an Office of Violence Prevention. You need case managers. You need people who specialize in dealing with the community on an empathetic level, right? Not just authoritarian level, not just enforcing laws and stuff like that.
Yeah, and because at one point you were always pushing for public safety as opposed to just having police departments, and in that had whether it be caseworkers, whether it be people who understand the plight of what's going on. It's just really a sad day, and I feel bad for these families who have to continue to go through the suffering of being shot time after time, or their loved ones being shot. But again, one of the things you said is so true. We thank God after a person's been shot multiple times, 50-year-old or 49-year-old, and he's in stable condition. And thank God that whatever tried to happen didn't happen, and I'm very grateful for that. The last thing I want to talk about in this segment, and it may take a little bit of time, but I want to talk about it because I want to make sure that our viewers know that we're going to be honest and straightforward with whatever hits the news that is very relevant to the community that we live in. A household name in our community is the Congo family, and I've always been friends with them for a nice length of time. As a matter of fact, Ezion Fair, the church building, was built by the construction company that is owned by the Congo establishment. But in the paper, I noticed that there was an issue with a foreclosure starting to happen, not because they owe money, but because some taxes were not paid to the city. Tell me what you know about that before I get into my commentary.
Yeah, so I just want to say the way that the headlines came out in this, I think it targeted someone who is not the person behind this, right? So they try to make it seem like Council President was doing something. This is his dad's company, who everyone knows as Sammy Congo. But again, they owe some taxes to the city of Wilmington. I feel as though this may be politically motivated.
Okay.
You are going after someone who, again, I'm not saying it's right not to pay your taxes. But what I'm saying is there are a ton of other corporations, LLCs, in the city of Wilmington right now who not only owe us property taxes, they owe us water water and sewer taxes, and have not paid those. And they have not taken them to court. They have not gone to the newspaper. They have not said they're going to foreclose on those properties. But you see they're using foreclosure as a weapon, right? And I just want to highlight that because under this administration, Mayor Pazicki has decided to foreclose, right? His administration has foreclosed on grandmom's house, on a single mother's house that owed $2,000 or $3,000, right? But yet you have somewhere like the Hotel DuPont that owes over $100,000 in water bill. They don't do nothing. They continue to get additional city money, which city taxpayer dollars. They get the state, federal, or the state rebate from the downtown development area, which is 20% of whatever they put into the project. They get the 15-year tax abatements as well, too. But yet, none of their stuff is ever touched.
Yeah, but one of the things I really want to make sure, Coby, that we teach our people, and for those of you who are watching, I'm going to be very honest. When you are in a position that has conflict,
yes,
we should anticipate that people will use it as a weapon to get
absolutely.
us. Now, Trippy happens to be the president of City Council, and he has not agreed a lot with what the mayor is doing.
Correct.
So to go after him should have been expected. Even though you're right, this is not Trippy's company, this is his father's company. It's the name brand, it's the brand that they're really going at.
I agree.
And what I think, like for example, I'm gonna give you an example, and I'm inviting those of you who are watching us to hear this example. I know that Pazicki hate my guts, okay? I'm the pastor of Ezion Fair, and I'm doing stuff. I'm building stuff. I'm making stuff happen. But I'm disagreeing with him a whole lot on policy, on how he interact with African Americans and things of that nature. So he and his cronies in their office, I knew they're going to come after me. I knew it. Now, hey, I knew they were. So what did I do? I made sure my infrastructure was tight because I knew They were going to come after, and when they come after you, what happens is any way they can get in, they're going to get in, and then they're going to blow it up, and the people you think supporting you ain't going to be supporting you.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I just made sure our infrastructure was strong, and they sent the fire marshal after me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say me, I mean Ezion Fair. And they came in here with 6 or 7 fire marshal folks. They went through every little thing they could find, and they just seen some things that we was in violation of. Let's be honest, we were in violation. We had an exit sign out. We were in violation. One of our fire extinguishers was not what do you call it? It's inspected in a year.
Oh,
It was something else. A couple of doors didn't shut by itself. These were minor things, but imagine if they were major.
Mm-hmm.
But they gave me 48 hours, I believe it was, to get everything fixed. I had everything fixed in about 7 to 8 hours.
Right.
Because I knew if they can shut us down and put us in the paper, it can discredit me.
Yep.
For everybody who's watching us, before we even finish with this article, you have to put your business in order. If you're going to help other people, if you're going to be out there and be controversial, and especially like Coby, who you fight hard for people. If people can find a way to get you and use a system because they got a power over it, they're going to do it. And when they tried to come after Ezion Fair, even with the street cutting, nobody paid the amount of money I had to pay to cut the street out there. We got all of that rebar on the Wholeness Center because the people over there in City Hall couldn't stand us, me in particular, and they made us put so much rebar. You can drive 95 through where our Wholeness Center is. That's what one of the contractors said to us. But this is what they do. Now, I will say, if I was giving, and I'm not one who's giving Mr. Sammy Congo any advice, that having sloppy business is not good. Especially when your son is a council president. The 501c3, something happened when they filed some paperwork, so they took it away. And as I was looking at all the details of what could have occurred, somebody needs to be hired to handle the business.
Right.
Because if they are a nonprofit, there is no taxes. So, but you gotta make sure that your status is right, because when people coming after you, this is what happens. So I agree with you that this was a weapon, and they used it. But who can say $300,000 is not owed when you don't have your 501c3 and it's not paid? And the question becomes, is that fair? You were going to say something, sorry.
No, I mean, I went to Chrysler King, which is the building that it used to be. It was owned by the Diocese of Wilmington. Which I think is very interesting that they get involved with politics. They endorsed in, some of these races. But the understanding was that this building was still going to be used for nonprofit use. I believe a treatment center was supposed to be coming there. So it was, what some have said already is, they were planning on using that building for their for-profit business. And the difference is, when you have a for-profit business, you have to pay taxes on things. And then there's a few things you don't have to pay taxes on under the 501c umbrella. The most common one is a 501c3, which is, if you donate to my C3, you can write it off on your taxes. Right. There's other nonprofits, right, that do not have to pay taxes, like a C4, a 527. There's a few different things out there. So again, when people make accusations like that are not true or based in the truth, it hurts the reputation of businesses as well, too, in the work that they're trying to do, nonprofits that are trying to do that work. So again, we have to be very careful to make sure we're not falling into that. And I just wanted to bring that up because I have seen people already take this article and say that. This has been under the C3 realm. They are fighting to get their C3 back. But when you lose your C3 and you get it back, you still have to pay that gap, whatever the gap was, right? It
that's what they're reporting, though.
Right, correct.
That's what they're reporting.
So those taxes still have to be paid. But I hope going forward that this does not affect their actual getting that status back. Because if it is going to be a treatment center, that is something that is truly needed for the city of Wilmington. That is dealing with high high drug rates right now.
Yeah, well, now that you say that, a part of the article also talked about the opioid situation where it came up in the race where the lieutenant governor was giving out money and was not holding people accountable. And I read in this article, I don't have any fact checks on it, that they were the second highest organization, not the funeral home, but the Legacy Center, 501c3 arm of it, received the second highest amount of money. Now, one of the things I'm concerned about is they don't have the treatment center yet. Were they fixing the place up for the treatment center? And if they were, then I'm with you. Then let's finish this project and let's get it going. But if they were not, or they have not, then I have some issues with even the legitimacy of how they're receiving this money.
So that would probably be found in the MOU. Usually, and I haven't seen it for full transparency, but usually how MOUs are set up, it would have a timeline of scope of work, whether it's, what exactly the funds are being used for, if it is being used, some for capital, some for programming. If it is for capital, what is the timeline for, different goals to be met and completed for the building or redevelopment or whatsoever it may be. So I don't know if they've published that on the commission's website or not. Last time I checked their website, it wasn't the most transparent. But that's not towards Congo, and that's towards the commission.
Right. They may not post
and they haven't posted anyone's. But I do believe it was $475,000 that was received from the commission, that task force that was formed.
Yeah, but where I'm also looking at is that so I think it's just sloppy business work because the Newcastle County is coming after them too about money that's owed to Red Clay and to the county as well for taxes on another property. So I'm trying to figure out what we can talk about, and I know somebody's saying, well, y'all talking about Bazicki and what he's doing, but the county is coming after them too. But we know Bazicki probably started this because that's what they.
Well, the county and Red Clay are not going for foreclosure.
They
just owe taxes to those two entities. Those one's a government. Well, they're both government, but one's an actual government, one's a school district. The city of Wilmington is trying to foreclose,
and that's the weapon.
That's a weapon. That's a weapon that I don't think we should be using. If you cannot foreclose on a slum landlord, like the one who owns 8th and Adams.
Street. I was going to say it, yeah.
He still owns those properties.
I see him over there when I'm driving
Y'all
by.
shouldn't be using this tool for anything else.
Yeah.
You show that you cannot, because he donated to your campaign, he's fine. He can renew his license.
So you think that's all I need to do? Maybe I won't have some people coming after me if I just start donating some money to these campaigns.
It's real interesting that some people are willing to sell out for a simple $600 donation.
Wow.
And I've now run 2 times, right? And I can tell anyone this. It is hard raising those funds, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, but in my 2 times running, I've had 983 total donations between Act Blue, checks, everything, right? I've had 22 max out donations. That's it. Everything else has been low dollar donations powered by the people. Actually, my biggest donor are educators, teachers, people who work in school districts or professors or whatsoever, somewhere in the educational realm. And they give $25. My average donation is $24.97. So again, you can do it. It takes more work, but some people want to take the easy route out. And the interesting thing is the people who do that, I've outraised them. It's, our former colleague used to say it all the time, who funds you runs you.
Yeah.
So pay attention to when votes happen, and then go back and check campaign finance reports, and you'll find.
Yeah, I'm seeing.
You'll find something very close.
The lessons of this situation, we understand, and you did a nice comparison where you said the county is not going for foreclosure, but they're just revealing the fact that there's some money owed.
Correct.
All right. Now, the city is going for foreclosure. Let me just do some prognostication. Do you think the city is going to? Well, I'm sure Sammy and his crew will get the money if need be, because I hear the lawyer talking about a lot of different things. But I doubt very seriously if they'll be able to go to foreclosure. Or do you think they can end up going? I mean, I think he would pay the money before they do that, right?
I think he'll pay the money.
And I'm gonna tell you why I say that, because if they're gonna put that on the market on the what do you call it, the foreclosure, and then the sheriff sell it off, I'll be one of the first bidders. and
it's a beautiful building. I haven't been in a few years, but
we looked at that building when before we bought over here, because they were closed down at that time, and we were going to buy both properties. But what stopped us? Yes, what stopped us was it was no real parking. We love heart of the city, but there's no parking, and with the level of cars that comes through here, we got to have enough parking to be able to satisfy. So that's one of the reasons why we did. And then we also saw how much work it would take. So we end up saying, you know what, it's better to build than to do that, and we can stay in the city. So second question I was going to ask you, if you believe whether or not this is going to become more political in nature, or do you think it's going to be a one and done and it's done?
I think once January 7th comes, I do have hope that now current Governor Carney, soon to be Mayor Carney, will have a different sense of direction when handling things like this. I think he is more even-tempered.
Okay.
And, again, politicians, some hold grudges, some don't. There's probably still things that get under your skin no matter what, but I think he will be better at handling situations like this and not using different mechanisms to attack certain people.
Okay. Well, I'm hopeful that is true, and there are those who I've heard comments on this whole scenario who were just concerned that they're not paying taxes. But if it is legitimately a 501c3, but they lost their status because of not filing paperwork with the tax company, then legitimately we can just recommend, Mr. Congo, please go find yourself somebody to take care of the business of the operation. Because sometimes when you're as large as they are, it can't be run like a mom and pop shop. It's got to be run with accountants. You got to, so that these things can be taken care of. But I'm not one to tell what to do. I just need to run my little teeny church over here and mind my business. But when I saw this it disturbed me to know that they can get you, and we give them room to get you. And I'm talking to all the persons out there who are in the front representing people, and people can't stand you. You got to have your house in order. Don't get caught with your underwear down. Please don't, because when you do, nobody's going to have mercy on you. And right now, if they can take that property, they'll take it.
Yeah.
And that's sad. So we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about the Coby's Corner. And today I celebrate my 19th church anniversary, and it was a great day today. So I'm going to end our show with some comments I would like to make to you all. So we'll be right back.
Join us live for our weekly worship. Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube.
Well, Pastor, I'm doing the best I can, but I still gotta have a little Chardonnay, and I still gotta have a little this, and I gotta still sneak around. The devil is a liar. That's an excuse.
Wilmington's most exciting church.
And we're back. Coby, what's going on with the Coby's Corner?
Yeah, so you know how I like doing. I like starting on what's going on at a national level. But our friends up north in New York is having some issues up there.
Yeah.
There has been an ongoing investigation for the last year and a half now into New York City Mayor Eric Adams and his administration, his campaign as well. And on Wednesday night, he was actually indicted on 5 charges, including bribery, trying to get donations from a illegal foreign entity, bribery and fraud. That is huge. Those are serious charges.
Very serious.
That took a while for them to investigate, but many others in his administration has either resigned, including both the fire chief, the police chief, the deputy mayor. The police chief is retiring, not resigning. The fire chief is resigning. The education director, one of his senior advisors was indicted for colluding with the Chinese government. So it has been an onslaught on that office of people getting indicted or resigning because they face no charges are coming. The investigation started in 2021, not long after he took office, actually.
Some of the stuff they said he was doing while he was a city council person.
Well, no, not so. New York has 5 boroughs, and the boroughs have what would be equivalent to like our county execs. He was a borough president of Brooklyn, which is the largest, right? So his former chief fundraiser, a former Turkish airline executive, a brand advisor and influencer, the Turkish consul general in New York was indicted. The aide, the senior aide to Eric Adams were all indicted as well. And again, this is concerning because New York, everyone says New York mayor is the second hardest job in America behind being president of the United States. Wow. It's our largest city with over 19 million people. Our New York Stock Exchange is there. A lot of businesses are housed there, right? It's the city that never sleeps. The city full of a bunch of rats as well, too, but that's a whole nother thing. But Adams is a former New York City police officer. Under his administration, they have implemented the RoboCop in New York. They have tried to crack down on people who are not paying the tolls for the subway up there. Just 2 weeks ago, 2 people were shot by cops for not paying the fare of $3.12. They were shot by cops because of that under his administration, but yet he's up here stealing money. Yet he's involved with wire fraud. So again, it's funny how he cracked down on the poor and low class, but yet he's doing the exact same thing, and he wanted to be the tough on crime mayor. The last tough on crime mayor that we had is also in some legal trouble with Rudy Giuliani. So again, Mr. Adams lost his way and thought he was above the law. And all I have to say to this is how you treat others is how you will be remembered.
Right.
And it's funny because he treated people for not paying tolls like the worst criminals in the world. And now he was selling the second hardest job in America. He was trying to sell out to a foreign government in the Turkish community. So again, we need reforms with this. Now, if he does decide to resign or he's removed from office, Jumaane Williams, who is the public advocate, is next in line to become the mayor. That's their line of succession. And then after him is the city comptroller. We don't have those offices here, but it's like a deputy mayor and then a chief financial officer for the city. But that's all I wanted to talk about with that. Back here at home, a few concerning things has happened. There was a hack that happened here.
Yeah, I heard about
the Delaware Division of Libraries is trying to figure out how it happened, but there was a hack of the Delaware Libraries system. So they're still in recovery. as of right now, their systems are still down, so you can't go to the library if you needed to use it for computers or not. But again, this is very concerning. People's personal information was probably exposed as well too, and we don't know how much data was actually
That's the
taken.
only library that was got that.
All of them, the whole
Delaware.
division, yeah.
Oh wow.
So it was some type of ransomware, and they went in and attacked all our systems throughout the state. So all the libraries are down right now. So we will see what comes of this as well too. But it's very concerning that the state was attacked in this way, and I look forward to seeing the report from our the state's IT on what happened, what was compromised, and how they can move forward. Because our libraries, if you owe, fees and you pay with your credit card information could be out. I'm pretty sure you have to use your social security number in order to get a library card. So again,
I think it's the last 4 digits now.
Okay. So again, that puts a lot of people in harm's way who have library cards over the years as well too. We don't know how far back our digitized system goes, right? They could have been adding the old stuff back in as well too. So again, just keep an eye on that. I will keep everyone updated as we go through that some more. But again, I'm just very concerned. And again, this is why, as we go into this new age, we got to really be paying attention to cybersecurity and the importance behind it. Next, the Wilmington Planning Commission will meet on Tuesday, October 1st, to consider a resolution permitting the recreational cannabis industry and what parts of the city it can operate if it can. The meeting is scheduled to ensure that City Council can conduct a zoning ordinance to permit the industry. They're going to aim for November for that. The deadline to actually apply for a license with the state is September 30th, the end of this month, which is...
When you say a zoning, do you mean like certain parts of the city?
Yes.
Because we got a liberal, this is me talking now, council coming in. You got, I don't know what we got in there now, but so they're going to be asking for. First of all, does the city have to allow selling of it to be here? They
don't, and other cities have banned it. In the law, it gives municipalities the ability to do that. Now, the only place that cannot ban it is like the counties. So there are unincorporated parts of Newcastle County in which they have to allow this to happen, right? That includes places like Claymont. That includes Bear, right? Those places they don't have their own established city council, mayor, whatever, town council. So they all fall under Newcastle County government. This zoning will be... would allow the sale of it or the cultivation or the retail testing, whatever it may be, to happen in certain parts of the city of Wilmington. And the parts that are proposed, of course, is the normal business areas, right? So commercial, waterfront, or manufacturing districts of the city that is pre-zoned or can be rezoned to that area that consists with state law. So it won't be in residential areas. Where you see liquor stores at, right? So you see a lot of liquor stores, especially in Black and brown communities throughout the city of Wilmington, but all over, but especially in the city of Wilmington. I know at some points in times there's 3 and 4 within a 10-block radius, right? That's what, no one wanted that for this bill. So again, the areas are commercial, waterfront, and manufacturing and where they can be placed at.
Okay.
Ban it. But it's the meeting is going to take place virtually via Zoom, and then also the anchor location is the 3rd floor conference room at the Lewis L. Writing Building, the City County Building, 900 North French Street. Again, we've seen it be banned in other municipalities over the last few months since the actual bill passed on the state level. So it will be very interesting to see how this goes here in the city of Wilmington.
Now, will the city council members, current ones, have to vote on this?
Yes, the current ones want to take a vote on it.
I don't know. It may not pass.
We'll see.
Yeah. I'm looking at. I was while you were talking, I was going through in my head the council persons It may not pass right now. Now coming up, now in January it would pass because y'all liberals are gonna be on there strong.
Maybe.
No, it would. But go ahead.
There's only 125 licenses for the entire state. 60 are cultivation licenses, 30 are for product manufacturing facilities, 30 are for retails, and 5 are for testing sites. That's
Testing
for
weed?
Well, you have to test it just like you test anything else.
See, I can smoke
Well,
one
no,
just to
not
see.
like testing like that, but like testing the chemical basis to create different strands and stuff like that.
Oh my God. Okay.
It's a lot that goes into it. It's just like when you're creating a new bourbon or a whiskey or something, you're trying to find what flavors and notes work best for what your style is going to be.
Okay. All right.
My friend took a whiskey making class.
Now blame it on your friend. I understand. I'll let you have that.
We saw all the notes. But no, that's what goes into it. The testing part isn't open to the public. That is, the scientists, just that part of it. The part that will be where an individual could go into a store is the retail licenses. A part of that, there are going to be some for individuals. It's the social equity licenses. Those are for individuals who've been disproportionately impacted by our former marijuana laws here in Delaware. So again, I believe they're going to start issuing the licenses no later than November the 1st for cultivation, for manufacturing, December the 1st, and for retail and testing, March the 1st, 2025. Yeah. So that's where we're at with those things right now. At the time of this recording, we will be just wrapping up my next thing I want to talk about. But we've had a few events already, and I'm going to talk more about this next week as well, too. One of my favorite weeks is happening right now, and that's HBCU week. Yeah. It started with the gospel brunch, then followed by the 5K, the middle school college tour, which I think is a great opportunity to get our youngest learners interested in not only HBCUs, but college, period, and exposing them to that opportunity. I believe this year they were able to take a tour of DSU. Dr. Tony Allen welcomed them in with the chair team and everything and gave them a great experience down there as they lead up to their own homecoming right now. There's been multiple panels about the HBCU experience. I know my future colleague Alex Hackett has sat on one and people in the community just to talk about their experience with seniors, with juniors who are considering going to HBCUs. And then there's also the fun side of things. There's been a happy hour, R&B concert as well too. But then my favorite part of it is the high school college fair where students get, they bring their grades, transcripts, and they get scholarships right there on the site. They get accepted right on site, which is great. And then my second favorite part of it, and the part that I get to attend, is the Battle of the Bands. Yeah. So I do know
who's coming this year?
I do know DSU will be there. I believe Morgan State, Lincoln, and I want to say Virginia State. I think Virginia State won it last year, so they'll be back. Morgan State and DSU have a nice little rivalry going, and then Lincoln coming on down to Delaware from the fields.
That's the best school. Yeah. From the fields, you're right. Because all we can do is study and learn and be ready and learn.
But it should be a good time. I believe, actually, you probably still have some time. I think it goes until 8. So if you're watching the show right now, you have about another hour and a half left if you wanted to stop over. It's going to be at Frawley Stadium.
Oh, Frawley, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
It was at Assassination Stadium last year, but it's back at Frawley.
Good job, yeah.
But that's all I got for you today.
Yeah, well, Coby, has been a good week for us and a good show, and I appreciate it. We're going to take a couple minutes, and I want to I want to just say thank you to the whole community, and then Coby will come right back, all right?
All right.
We'll be right back. Hey, this is Pastor Curry, pastor of the Ezion Fair Baptist Church, Wilmington's most exciting church, the church that love ya, and anything you can do about it. What we're going to do today is we're going to have a real good conversation. I'm excited. Come on!
Sunday at 11 a.m.
Why don't you call somebody real quickly? Tell them Coffee with Curry is on. And let's get after it.
Christopher Holton. I'm very active. It was a Saturday morning. Normally I go for my normal walk.
With no warning, Chris suffered a near-fatal heart attack. But thankfully, Brian Buckley, a bystander, saw him collapse and rushed to help.
He did this big gasp for air and then just stopped. It's like I went into autopilot. It's like all that training I did back in the day around CPR just magically came out of nowhere.
Because of the CPR training that Brian received, Chris did make it and didn't die on the trail that day. CPR training provided by the American Heart Association.
Looking at your hands, these two hands could save a life.
Being a father, you want to be around. You want to be around for your kids.
Heart disease is America's #1 killer. To learn more about how the American Heart Association helps save lives, go to helpheart.org.
As a mom, I want my kids' lives to be filled with joy and possibility, and I want that for every kid. That's why I support No Kid Hungry. They work in schools and communities to make sure every kid gets the healthy meals they need. Please join me in supporting No Kid Hungry for all kids.
Thank you.
Go to operationprevention.com and start the conversation today.
And we're back. I just wanted to take this opportunity to first thank each and every one of you who watch us every week. I wanted to do a special segment because today I celebrate my 19th pastoral anniversary here at Ezion Fair. In February of 2005, the great and faithful people of Ezion Fair elected me to be their new pastor. And it has been a true journey and a true love affair that has transpired. Many of you have been watching us. We started out just in 2007 on cable channel 28, and our broadcast, that hour of power, came on every uninterrupted for the last 19 years, or should I say 17 years. And I'm very grateful. I'm very humbled. Ezion Fair has been exceptionally good to me. It has been a very good marriage. There have been some ups, there have been some downs, but overall, it has been faithful. I'd like to share as my ministry, or look at it in this vein, that Ezion Fair, while we've had our good days and our bad days, there's been no drama. While we've had our good days and our bad days, there have been no turmoil that has caused us not to be together or want to divorce each other. I don't know what the Lord holds for me in the future, but I want to thank him for the 19 years. And I'm looking forward to the 20th anniversary, where several things is going to transpire. But before I get to that, for those of you who are pastors, those of you who are members of local churches, it's going to be important that you allow God to use the man or woman of God to do what God has called them to do. There were times in the front of part of my ministry here at Ezion Fair, I just wanted to throw my hands up and say I'm out. Not because the people were bad, but because sometimes we get our roles, some conflicts in the roles of whether it be the deacons, whether it be the trustees, whether it be choir members. And a lot of people like to be in charge because for most cases, the only place some people have power is in church. But as I looked back over the 19 years that I've served as pastor of Ezion Fair, all I can say has been a great love affair. The people have been exceptionally kind to my wife and to our daughter, Ashley. We have no regrets. As I shared with the saints today, Pastors will be jealous to know the level of love that we have for each other. And for those of you who watch us every week, you have allowed me to come into your living rooms. You have allowed me to come into your bedrooms, into your hospital rooms. You have allowed me to come in and share with you, whether it be on The Source, where we deal with the news, whether it be with the Coffee with Curry, where we bring people in to have a conversation and dialogue with them, or if it be on our Hour of Power. You've allowed me to pour into your life. And I really consider it an honor, and I consider it a privilege. I know that there are some who really don't care too much for a Pastor Curry, and that's fine. But I've learned this. There are some things in life you can't control. And what you can't control, don't spend your life trying to control it. I can't control people's opinions. I can only show you what God is working with. Over the 19 years, God has been faithful. God has been exceptionally faithful. There were people who decided, I'm out here, throw up the deuces. I don't want to go this route. But in our 19 years, we've been able to produce the total vision that we had for Ezion Fair. And I shared with them that within the first 15 years of our ministry, there were certain things that were going to happen. I said within the first 5, there were certain things were going to happen. We shared we were going to build a sanctuary, a church where it could have facilities to be able to service the community as well as our outreach in ministry. Well, we did that. In 2009, we moved into this location here at 1400 B Street. It's a 25,000 square foot facility on an acre and a half or 2 acres of property. And here in Ezion Fair, we have several facilities, whether it be the sanctuary, the fellowship hall that seats 200 people seated for dinner, whether it be a full commercial kitchen, classrooms, conference rooms, boardroom, various offices. The sanctuary was built, and the Lord certainly have been utilizing it to get glory out of the lives of so many who are impacted by it. Then we promised we would have something for our youth, because we recognize education is very important to me, but not only education, but the total development of the total person. And I want to thank, there's several politicians that I really want to thank, and I owe a whole lot to, because when I shared vision, many of them were right there with me saying, this can happen. This can happen. Wilmington is big enough for a Curry to be able to make some things happen. But we decided to launch, and we named that the Wholeness Center, because we didn't want it just to be a basketball facility for kids to play basketball, but we wanted to be inclusive. And we built that building in 2019. There were some bumps. There were some stirring moments in that building of that project, because while I give praise to some politicians, there are other politicians that I just say it's just disgraceful that when you don't agree with them, they treat you like you're an animal, or they try to find ways to use their power for evil as opposed then for good. But after all the turmoil we had to go through, we were able to open the doors in 2019, and that's a 30,000 square foot facility. It has a full gymnasium with a full indoor 3-lane track. We have a weight room. We have in that building showers and weight and facilities for locker rooms, and as well as for we have offices, and we have full classrooms. We have smart classrooms, not just classrooms, but classrooms that are technically, they have technology that is for more of the middle school children as opposed for the daycare. We have landed a 5-star daycare center. I'm just sharing with you the things that God has blessed us with. And this campus is very much in the heart of a community. While everything that we serve is not just for the Southbridge community, we believe in community being in total. We have scholarship things that we do with our community. We have different food programs that we give our food out to. We have the medical program that we have right here on our campus once a week. don't have a list of all the things that we have going on, but you can always go to our website and you can see the various things that we have going on. Because again, in order for us to be a reflection of Jesus Christ, we have to be in the community and we have to give back beyond just the worship on Sunday. We have to make sure that we're giving back on Monday through Saturday, so that when we come in on Sunday, we can magnify the Lord with a clean heart and with clean hands, because we've done what the Lord would have us to do. I want to say to you that as we are moving forward now to build some new housing for us, affordable housing for our seniors. Many of you who have driven by, you have shared with me, Pastor, this is great. This is great. You're getting it done. You're getting it done. I promised that we were going to take care of our seniors too, not just the youth, but we want to take care of the seniors, because all too often they're left behind. Our seniors are looked over because they have gotten older and they don't have the same ability to move and do things. So we built 5 houses after going through all the problems we had to go through with the city. We ended up building 5 houses and planning to convert them. But for right now, I want to make sure that you understand that each house have its own elevator. Each house has access to handicap. Totally. Seniors can't walk steps. Some seniors can't walk steps. And I want to make sure that I built something where they will be able to enjoy their latter years, not their final years, but their latter years, because that's important. They've worked hard. They've done the best they can to raise generations. And our job now is to bless them. And as we are moving forward and we start the lottery of how we're going to make this happen, because it's going to happen very soon. I'm going to make sure I keep you updated, because I want to see you as one of the persons who receive one of these benefits. And these apartments are going to be beautiful. We are putting some good stuff in them. We're not just building something to say we've built it, but we are putting money into it so that we will be able to say this is an investment where our seniors are feeling really good with it. So the purpose for this last segment of the show was really just to say thank you. 19 years, God has been faithful. 19 years, you, the people of God, have been faithful. And Pastor Curry, take a moment on behalf of Rosa, my wife, who you very hardly ever see because I'm very protective of my family. We have an outstanding marriage. My daughter, who is a straight A student and she also is an athlete as well, doing very well. But we keep that private because I don't want people to ever attack any of them too. Because if you want me to lose my license as a minister, bother my family, and then you will see. So the best thing for me to do in order to maintain my license is to just keep them out of the scene. And my wife is very much comfortable with that because she's not seeking attention like some try to seek. But I want to say on behalf of all 3 of us, thank you. Thank you, and I appreciate you. Next year will be my 20th anniversary. I don't know what the Lord will have in store after the 20 years, but the 20th anniversary, this is what the plan is. Our plan is to celebrate very strongly what the Lord has done through your manservant, as well as the first family. But we also want to do something very big. And, I've never asked anybody for anything, but we want to burn our mortgage. The way it's looking right now, we are on the right trajectory to burn the mortgage. I came to Ezion Fair in 2005. They didn't have any debt. None at all. But they trusted me to allow debt to accumulate, given all the things that we were doing and trying to get done. But we believe next year, we're going to burn this mortgage. We have that campaign going on, and it's looking good. The people are excited. They want to be a part of it. If you're interested in helping us to even burn our mortgage, there's some things that your name will always be implanted in this monument that we are building in order to show who burnt the mortgage and cause us to become debt-free. And that's exactly what we're planning to do. It's been a good ride. It's been a good journey. I don't know what's going to happen to The Source. I don't know what's going to happen to Coffee with Curry or the Hour of Power when my time is up. But whoever God places in after I'm done, I hope that they will be able to have the love affair that I've had and enjoyed with the people and the citizens of Wilmington, as well as with the Ezion Fair Baptist Church. It's been a great joy. So again, on behalf of our family, we want to say thank you so very much for the 19 years. And the church knows clearly how much I really love and appreciate them for all that they have done to augment my life as well as my family. Again, on this 19th anniversary, please let it be said that Pastor C.T. Curry Rosa Curry, and Ashley Curry, and our Morky Kendall says to you, thank you, and thank you. Till the next time, God bless.
And we're back. Well,
I just want to say happy anniversary. Thank
you
you for all the work that you've been doing in the community.
Appreciate it.
And I'm looking forward to another 19 years.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I
Getting in good trouble over here.
Yeah, I don't know about that. My daughter, when she graduated from high school, we don't know what the Lord is going to do.
There you go.
But I will say this. Thank you so very much again, Ezion Fair. Thank you so very much, the Wilmington community. You have been the greatest. Anything else from you, Coby?
That's all I have for today.
That's all I got. So have a good day.
Take care, y'all.
Clear. All right, there you go. And I gotta go. Thank you, guys. You didn't forget about me, did you?
You've been watching The Source with host Dr. C.T. Curry and co-host Coby Owens. Tune in every Sunday at 5 p.m. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest episodes.